All right, so apologize for that. Let's get into a 28 pair. So last week, as I mentioned, we actually got out our Aussie Newsy trade at around this area. So almost break even. Really nothing around this area. I think even lower. Oh, sorry, 40. Yeah, at around this area. So it's almost break even. Looking back, I should have really just profit right here, but nevertheless, we still end up with some money and happy about it. Now, if you're looking at that, it's really, another good point to sometimes keep an eye in the news or sentiment. It's because I got out at this candle, which is supposed to be a bullish candle, right? It actually goes up, goes down, goes up. Supposed to be like that if you're just looking at the technical chart. But I got out nevertheless just because, as I was saying, looking at the news, you realize Australian dollar is being largely sold because the negative sentiment from the commodity speculator right now. And lo and behold, it actually dropped. So that's another good thing. But anyway, we are out and there's nothing to trade for today for Australian and New Zealand dollar. So let's get into 28 pairs. Just give me 1 second. Okay. So first thing first, look at the euro. So euro pound again continue to drop because the strength into British pound. But as I mentioned, it's really just very small movement. So nothing really. They both are negative basically for me. But pound of course does have a better strength. So, but I don't have anything at this moment just because everything is too low. I do want to see maybe reversal signal at 87.50 for me to short again. Euro Swiss both are negative, nothing really to look at. You are really in this very condensed area, right? Euro dollar, as mentioned, first reversal signal today, and tomorrow, if we can reach at 1.07 or even 1.0850, of course that's gonna be a very good place to looking for another short. Euro Aussie. Again, we have this. This is actually today's candle. This is the Asian session. So you actually have this reversal candle today, but it's not. It's a bearish candle, but it's not a kangaroo tail or inverted hammer, if you want to call it. For me, it's not good enough to get into it. On top of that, because of the Australian weak sentiment. So it's really not a textbook trade if you. For me to do analysis, because it's either you have a lot of strength fundamentally or sentimentally, or you have to have a good enough price action signal. If you don't have both, then that means the probability is low. Then I don't want to risk my money onto this kind of trade. So today, if we have a very good, bearish kangaroo tail, then yes, I would take a trade, even though sentimentally Australian dollar is still in a weak position. But because the price action has shown me that, traders are willing to short, especially versus euro, which is the weakest currency right now. But because we don't have that kind of signal, and looking at sentiment, we don't have any strong sentiment into Australian dollar at the moment. So it's not a good enough trade for me to risk. And that's why I would not trade it. Looking at EuroCAD, and continue drop, no surprise for Euro dollar versus Canadian dollar. Euro Newsy, again, it's really in a range area. Euro yen continue to edge higher due to the weakness into Japanese yen. Now look at British pound, pound Swiss franc, another update for British pound. So again, if you are a breakout buyer, then yes, it's a good signal you are actually going to this new area. And don't be surprised, this thing might actually, because you already broke the support already. So now this is the resistance. Now this is a new support. So this thing might keep going, maybe to the next zone. Most likely will be here around this area, 139.40 or 131.50, right? So that will be the next area. So actually, might not be a bad trade, to be honest, if I'm looking at this right now. But I don't know, my own rule of thumb is really not to buy any breakout trade. It's really to do a reversal trade because I just don't like to buy high, sell low. But I'll take a look at it later to make my decision. Okay, but just saying, if you're a breakout trader, it's actually a very good trade for pound Swiss franc. Looking at cable is the same thing, but of course I would not actually go against US dollar at this moment. So it does have a good signal, but I don't want to go against US dollar because fundamentally US dollar is just too strong. Pound Aussie continue to go higher, no signal. Pound CAD, range area. Pound New Zealand is another basically small kangaroo tail, but it's in this. There's no space. It's in this range area, and it's in the high, so I don't want to buy high. Pound yen again, another H higher. So really for British pound, I do think pound Swiss is actually not bad if looking at it. I gotta look at the economic calendar. I wanna see if we have any risk events basically. That's going to be too risky. So Tuesday we do have public sector is not important. Member forest. Okay, this is not really important. And Wednesday you have autumn forecast statement, and then second estimate GDP. This week is quite light, to be honest. Not much economic data to jeopardize your trade. You do have FOMC meeting minute. That's going to be a very important thing for Wednesday. But because we are not in dollar trade, so it's okay. Yeah, looking at this is actually quite attractive, to be honest. This candle itself, and compare with all the strength into British pound at this moment, but it will be a sentiment trade only. So let's keep going. Swiss franc yen, again another update for Swiss franc. Dollar Swiss keep going up, but sort of reversal. Dollar CAD is another down day for US dollar because of strong strength into Canadian dollar. Dollar yen is another update, and don't be surprised to see this thing going up because really there's no point for it to stop at this moment. So if it's continue to go up, then yeah, it's very, very likely this will keep going up. So whether you're gonna make money or not, like if you wanna go into this kind of breakout trade, certainly okay to do so. It's just my personal rule of thumb, Aussie Swiss. Again, another update for Australian dollar versus Swiss franc. Whether this is a good signal for me to long, not really. I do like it, but I don't. Generally, I only took two kind of signal. One is a kangaroo tail, or you can call it hammer, inverted hammer. The other one is a big shadow, or is called bullish, bearish, engulfing candle. So that's really the two things I'm looking to take a lot of time. Aussie dollar, same thing, another reversal signal into Australian dollar. And Aussie CAD, okay, Aussie New Zealand, and Aussie yen. Cancel this one. Okay, let's take a look at Canadian dollar, CAD Swiss. Again, Canadian dollar have an oil market, WTI gap up, and it shows exactly in the Canadian dollar as well. CAD Swiss, CAD yen. CAD yen also has a very good signal and just keep going higher. New Zealand Swiss, New Zealand dollar. New Zealand dollar actually have a very good in bullish engulfing, right? Very good signal. But again, like I said, I don't want to short dollar at this moment. New Zealand CAD, and finally New Zealand yen. Okay, so really only thing I'm looking at is pound Swiss because I do like this candle, but the only thing is that it just against my principle of don't buy at breakout. I normally like to short at the reversal. I don't like to buy at the breakout. Another thing is Aussie Swiss. If you, I know a lot of people trade this kind of candlestick. It's like, but for me, it's really not good enough. You know, I didn't open low enough. I didn't close high enough. So, generally speaking, I wouldn't trade this. I know it's working right now, but if you look at this, I wouldn't really want to enter this kind of candlesticks. So, pretty much, an Aussie CAD, you are at a low point, but it doesn't have a reversal signal today. All right. So really, pretty much, I don't have anything other than, you know, some trade I just mentioned. And again, like this one, it's a very good breakout signal for a lot of people who wants to buy it. For me personally, I don't like to do it just because I rather getting at reversal. I rather getting at low. That's just my personal preference. Okay. And the reason is because my stop loss is generally lower than candle low. So for me to reach one-on-one, I really need a bigger room for me to set stop loss to break even. And that's why I really generally like to, if I want to buy cable pound Swiss, I like it to go up and go down, and that's the moment I would buy. Okay, so it's just a personal preference. You can definitely buy a breakout. But guys, that's it for me for today. As I mentioned, this week is pretty much going to be a little bit reversal into a lot of dollar pair. But don't be surprised to see a continued strength into US dollar. So this week actually might be providing some chance for you to get into short other pair versus US dollar. But for me, I definitely just gonna be patient to wait for the opportunity. Other than that, in terms of economic calendar, really don't have much to trade as a risk events. Also, core retail sale, of course, this kind of thing. Today you can trade this one, and you can look into buy Canadian dollar only if you have a positive deviation. So that's what I'm gonna trade nowadays. It's really like combine the sentiment fundament into a risk event. So back then I only trade with surprise. But now I realize that if I trade surprise with the pre-existing sentiment, I actually have more probability to make money. So for me, I only gonna trade with positive surprise into Canadian dollar today. So if we have a positive sentiment, positive surprise today, if the WTI continue to go up, then upon a positive surprise, I will buy the Canadian dollar versus Japanese yen or Swiss franc. Okay. So we're expecting 0.6, and the maximum will be 1%, minimum will be 0.2%. And for core retail, we're expecting 0.5 on my routers. What maximum will be 0.8, and minimum will be 0.1. Minimum will be 0.1. That's what we're expecting for Tuesday, today's New York sessions. Wednesday, you could trade core durable goods or unemployment claim, but only buying US dollar, right? But I wouldn't want to trade anything on Wednesday, to be honest with you, because I have an FOMC meeting coming up a minute in the afternoon. So I don't want to trade anything actually into US dollar. Crude oil inventory is going to be a good hint for Canadian dollar. So take a look at the, this is previous, right? So the forecast is not here yet, but generally speaking, if you have a very large number, if you just look at the past 6 months or past couple 6 times, if you have 14 million, 40 million is the largest number you have. Then if you see anything above that, that's a negative number for crude oil, and that's a negative number for Canadian dollar. And the lowest one is minus 5.2. So if you have anything lower than minus 5.2, that's a very positive signal for oil market, a very positive signal for Canadian dollar. So that's how you trade crude oil inventory basically. But of course, I normally don't trade it because this is just one signal. You have to get in to see what happened to the distilled oil, what happened to natural gas, and really only people who are specialized in the oil market trading get into that. I'm not really specialized in that. I just look at good crude oil as a whole picture. So not really something I trade live, you know. And FOMC, of course, is gonna be volatile events. I'm not going to do anything, but I'm just stay out. And Thursday, German info, not really a tradable event. Really nothing to trade here. And second estimate GDP is not that important as a preliminary GDP. So it's not a tradable event. I will take a look at that. Of course, if you have a large deviation, then you can short British pound. Why short? Because that's the general sentiment. So basically, that's it. My plan, you know, for this week, just trading today, this morning's core retail sale on Canadian dollar, buying Canadian dollar versus Japanese yen and Swiss franc, only if we have a positive sentiment, positive number. Other than that, I don't have anything for this week, but we can still come back to do daily trade tomorrow. And again, if you have any question, feel free to ask or leave comment below. All right, thanks for watching. I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.